Good evening and welcome back to Sports Talk ATL. I am Chase Earl, joined by Alex. Lord got the Braves jacket on because, damn it, Alex, if they have not sucked me back in again, and this is the best time to suck me back in, right? Like, I came into last night, it didn't necessarily feel like I would typically feel in a winner-take-all Braves game. I mean, I think I've been beaten down. I was like, I hope they win. But if they don't, the season ends. Like, this has just been, as you like to call it, the season from hell, and I don't think there's any doubt about it. Spencer Schwellenbach on the mound. We were really interested to see how. I mean, the guy was outstanding. I mean, the guy, he's cold-blooded, man. And I said sometimes you're too young and dumb to know any better. This guy just might be elite, and I'm talking elite of the elite. I mean, what he did in that scenario, he gave up the one homer, but outside of that, he was 2 hits going into the 7th inning. He could have probably even gone into the 8th inning if they really wanted. The Mets had no answer for him, and it wasn't like, oh, this is the first time they've seen him. He dominated the Mets the last time he played him. I mean, this guy against the best teams in the league, you go look at the teams that are in playoff races right now. He has a 1.79 ERA, I believe, over 8 starts, and just cold-blooded. I mean, I can't imagine the things that were going through that young man's mind. But whatever he did, whatever adrenaline he had, whatever extra boost he had, he used it in a positive manner. He pitched one of his best games, and the Braves now possibly, hopefully, if weather permits, have Chris Sale on the bump tonight to take game 2, take a lead in the wild card, and the Diamondbacks lost. I mean, it was it was the best case scenario for the Braves. If you weren't sucked back in, I don't know what it's going to take to suck you back in, because I'm all the way back in. That's why I got the Braves jacket on.
They do it, every few weeks, a couple weeks of bad baseball.
Good news is there's only 1 week left.
A week of good baseball is all we need. And yeah, I don't know how you watched last night's game and aren't, your hopes aren't back up. You're ready to be hurt again. I'm ready. It's like getting excited for the Falcons in the offseason. It was like, okay, I'm actually excited again. That's how I felt last night. You can't say enough good things about that kid. He's nails. He's nails. And, we've been earlier than a lot of people, I think, just hyping up Schwellenbach. And I'm going to go a step further that, we're not going to miss Max Fried at all. This kid has everything in his bag to be a frontline starter in this league for a very, very long time. He's quickly I don't think people, maybe casual Braves fans and a lot of fans in general, this kid has virtually no experience. He's doing this with virtually no experience. He was pretty much just a closer at Nebraska, played shortstop, and he closed some games. He pitched a few games in Double-A. Tommy John pitched a few more games in Double-A this year, and then he came up to the big leagues. I mean, he's been absolutely absurd. And just from a pure talent perspective, I don't think that's as big of a deal, because when you got it, you got it. It's not necessarily sometimes about, how much experience you have, but the experience factor comes into play when you're talking about a must-win game against the Mets, your biggest rivals at this point right now in the season, and he comes out and he just pitches a gem. That's what's most impressive in terms of his lack of experience, is where he's nails, the poise. The kid is tough as nails. He doesn't flinch. It's unbelievable.
Yeah, I mean, he's the total package.
He's everything.
You want to talk about velocity? The guy was humming it at 98 consistently, especially early on in the game, and you can say that's adrenaline, but he's got 97, 98, sometimes 99 in the bag if he really needs it. He's got the full repertoire of pitches. I mean, there's not many guys that have 4 pitches they can rely on. This guy has 6. Yeah. I mean, he has 6 that he can rely on, and a lot of these pitches he just started throwing this year. Yeah. I mean, that cutter that he throws like 17% of the time, that wasn't even in his repertoire. I mean, a lot of these pitches he's just starting to throw. So when you talk about lack of experience, it's also like these guys that he's throwing a new pitch seemingly every year. And then you add into that just the intangibles, the mental makeup that he clearly has to pitch in these big moments and not flinch. It's the total package. It's the total package. I mean, when Spencer Strider comes back and you also have Chris Sale, Spencer Schwellenbach, and Ronaldo Lopez, I never thought I'd say it. You're not going to miss Max Fried. And I don't expect the Braves, and this isn't what this segment's about, but it's true. I mean, Spencer Schwellenbach has really, really made life easy on the Atlanta Braves. And as we say, if there's one thing that you can count on from this team, it's those top 3 or 4 starters going out there and giving you a gem every 5 days. There's a couple other stars. Marcell Ozuna, close to 4,100, a second 4,100 season in a row if he gets the home run over the last 5 games. Hopefully he does. We definitely could use it. Michael Harris, though, is a guy that 2 weeks ago, literally September 10th, We talked on this show, and I wrote an article about it, about how he needs to be the guy that steps up. Since that day, I don't know if he does follow me on Twitter, but since that day, he might have read that article, because the guy's hitting .417 with 7 homers and 13 RBIs, an OPS of nearly 1,300 since September 10th. That's 13 games. Had probably his best game of the season last night. His OPS is already nearing, it's creeping. It goes up fast when you miss a lot of time. It's already near 750. I mean, he's starting to put together a pretty decent season, all things considered. But this is a guy we're talking about as dark horse MVP candidate because of all of his talent, and we're seeing it. Defensively, offensively, made a big play in center field last night. He's the guy that needs to lead the Braves alongside Matt Olson and Marcell Ozuna. And all three of those guys are hitting right now. And that gives you a little bit of hope along with this pitching staff.
Yeah, Mike was also nails last night. I mean, one triple shy of a cycle. And he had that in like the 4th inning or maybe the 5th inning. So he's the guy that obviously the Braves need. But even more than him, you've got the supplementary pieces doing their part as well. Ramon Laureano, this is the exact kind of situation that the Braves have been known for. And it's some bum getting DFA'd or traded away and then DFA'd is typically how it goes. And then we collect him back off of waivers, and he comes and becomes the best version of himself in Atlanta. That's the exact thing Ramon Laureano has been for the Atlanta Braves. He comes up clutch. He plays good defense. He plays the game hard, and you can't ask for much more when you're asking from a guy that was DFA'd just to be a supplementary piece. He's been more than a supplementary piece. He's been a key cog in this Braves team just to keep their playoff hopes alive. I want to shout out him.
And I think there's undoubtedly, I think you can say the presence of Ozzy Albies. He's had some hits. He's had a home run. Like it's deepened the lineup to where like we're starting to see this group kind of get hit after hit after hit. He had another RBI single yesterday, which sort of broke that game open, made it 2-0, gave a little more cushion to Spencer Schwellenbach to do his things. I don't think there's any doubt that just getting him back has made a big improvement in this lineup. This is a group that has, I think, 20 homers over their last 7 games since Ozzy Albies has returned. So there's no doubt that, this is a group that's starting to play better offensively. And like we've always said, we don't need 5, 6, 7, 8 runs to win a lot of ball games. You go out there and get you 4. I heard a stat on 680 The Fan, courtesy of Chris Domino, who's known for his stats, and it was one of the more unbelievable stats. But if you've watched the Braves, it made a lot of sense. I believe there's something crazy like 77 and like 13 when they've scored 4 or more runs. They're 10 and 55 when they've scored 3 or less. So it's that simple. Go get
the line.
Go get your 4 runs. Go. I said it. If you're Brian Snick, like play. And you know what yesterday looked like? And I know it was just one game, but it looked like a team that's been there before. And I know there's a lot of pieces, but it looked like a team that was ready for the moment. And I think that's what gives you the most confidence. Like Chris Sale's been there before, and he's going to be on the mound tonight, hopefully, as I said, weather permits. But this entire team has been in these moments from Jorge Soler, Marcell Ozuna, Matt Olson, Ozzy Albies, Michael Harris. They've been in these moments. They aren't going to flinch, and I think that's what we saw last night, and hopefully it continues over the final 2 games of these series.
So, we talked about Matt Olson, Marcell Ozuna, and Michael Harris as of late, just being the guys for this Braves lineup. But that doesn't include guys like Jorge Soler, Travis d'Arnaud, Sean Murphy, who may not be having good seasons or a good recent production, fully capable of going yard a couple times in as many games and in the same game for Travis d'Arnaud as he did a couple months ago in the season. So, this Braves lineup, for the most part has been atrocious to watch for the entire season. But frankly, it doesn't matter when you're playing your best ball at the right time, Michael Harris especially. But this entire Braves team is playing their best ball at the exact right time, just like God intended. That's exactly what happens. Mets come to town, season's on the line, Braves turn it on. That is just how baseball gods work.
Yeah, I mean, 6 out of 7 wins. Offense looks better. Pitching keeps doing its thing. It seems like everything starts to be gelling. Now, I can't say this without saying this has happened probably 10 times this season over a week-long stretch, and then they go back and they decide they can't score any runs anymore, and they leave runners in thirds with less than 2 outs, and it makes you want to go crazy, and you lose 1-run games, and everyone's yelling at the sky, and I'm right there with you. But it does feel a little bit different. I really hope they get this game played tonight because the momentum's all in the Braves' favor, and you have a chance to really, really kick the Mets while they're down, get right back into postseason positioning. get the tiebreaker for the season over the Mets and over the Diamondbacks, and potentially be ahead of the Diamondbacks in the standing as well. All that could be on the table tonight, so I hope they get this game in.